Hello there, wonderful viewer. I don't make videos on Call of Duty or shooters in general very often, but if you look through the channel, you'll see that I've made videos about XDefiant, I've made videos about Apex Legends, I've made videos about Battlefield, I've made videos about Call of Duty. And I've played the Black Ops 7 beta now for a few days, and on Twitter, I said it was shit. I said it was dog water, it was ass. But after playing it some more, especially in the open mosh pit, which is the classic kind of Call of Duty style of matchmaking, I've really enjoyed it. It's still a little too ADHD ridden for me. It's still a little too fast. It's not my kind of shit. I prefer games that are a little bit slower, games that I can think a little bit more and have a good time and just relax. That's still me personally. That's how I am. But that being said, I do like some of the fast-paced action every once in a while. I felt like XDefiant was a good middle ground. It was fast. I could still kind of think a little bit. It was closer to Call of Duty that I remembered as a kid, but it wasn't super fast like Black Ops 6 was. It was an awful game. I hate Black Ops 6. It's awful game. You should never play it, and luckily you probably won't ever have to, because most of you here watch me for a vintage story. But I ask you, I beg of you even, to indulge me for just a moment while I talk about a franchise that honestly is one of the most important franchises to me as like a quote gamer unquote. I've been playing Call of Duty since 2010 with Black Ops 1. It's one of the first games that I really ever got into beyond like the old PS2 RPGs and shit that I used to play back in the day. So it was a big deal. It was obviously a huge cultural movement. And of course, I dropped out of shooters in Black Ops 3 because of the loot box stuff. I would have been like 15, 16 at the time. And I just said, fuck it. I'm done. This loot box shit is going too far. I think it's ridiculous. So I quit. I quit playing shooters in general, and then I went to XDefiant once that came out in 2024, and I played Black Ops 6, and it was awful. But I can safely say that Black Ops 7 is actually pretty fun. It's actually a pretty fun and enjoyable experience. I really like it. Omni movement isn't my favorite thing in the world, but it is very fluid. It feels very good, and it's nice. I prefer, again, slower kind of combat. I like that more, but it is very well done. And I think that the addition of the wall jumps are really nice. I think it's really nice to be able to just kick yourself off a wall and get up to a higher ledge. I think it adds a little bit more verticality, which after Black Ops 6 and its very, very fast-paced action, I think that it's a natural progression of that system, right? We want to make it go a little bit more. Let's push it up, push the envelope just a little bit more, see what people can do with a, kind of like a half-ass double jump kind of thing. And I think that it's really fun. All of the guns feel really fun to shoot. This open beta has been really enjoyable for me in terms of like shooting, leveling up my guns and stuff. I've just really enjoyed it thus far. I have had some really, really sweaty games and some really bad experiences, but in the footage you're watching, I make mistakes, I fuck up. I'm not like a perfect shooter player. I'm not even that good at the game, to be honest with you, but I enjoyed myself. I can safely say that I enjoyed myself, which is something I haven't been able to say in a long time with Call of Duty. Very, very long time with Call of Duty. And that's really what this video is about. I just want to talk about how much fun this game is. Now, do I think it's going to be worth the $70, possibly $80 or whatever that they're charging for it? No, I don't think it's worth that at all. I think that's at a crazy price, and I think the games are getting way too expensive. I might spend that much on Battlefield 6, but I'm not going to spend that much on Call of Duty. Jesus Christ. I bought Black Ops 6 when it was on sale. I still regret that decision to this day. Black Ops 6 is just a bad fucking game. I would not play it. It looks stupid. It plays stupid. It's not very fun. But all of this is to say that Activision, because of how well Battlefield 6 has been doing in its promotion and how it's been doing in the beta that they had back in August, Activision has finally had to change some stuff, which is great. Having actual good competition leads to changes, and it's always better for the consumer. I think this year is the perfect year to be a shooter fan. Honestly, if you guys play FPS games, this is the year. We have some great games coming out. Battlefield 6 looks great. Black Ops 7 looks pretty good. I don't really care for the campaign. Don't give a shit about that at all. I've heard mixed things about the zombies mode, and zombies is just overdone anyway. Like, how many fucking games in a row is this with zombies in it? 4 or 5 maybe? It's just like, can we do something other than zombies? Like, Jesus Christ. I miss the days when like you'd have an Infinity War game and it would have like its own third mode where it was like Modern Warfare 3 had survival. MW2 had like these special missions, right? Ghosts had Extinction, which was like aliens and shit. It was really cool. I really enjoyed those like unique things that every game brought to the table. But like, it seems like with Black Ops 3, every studio just kind of realized that, yep, zombies works the best. We're just going to fucking stick with that. And that's just kind of what they've done since. It's kind of a shame because zombies is kind of fucking boring. Like, I've played Black Ops 6 Zombies. I'm not a fan of it. It's not the zombies that I like. I will probably stick with Black Ops 3 from now until the end of time, to be honest with you. Anyway, back to the main point, though. Activision for a long time has been working under this system of skill-based matchmaking. They've been doing it at least since 2019, pretty heavily, although I think there were glimpses of it before in some of the older games, just not quite to the extent that it is now. And skill-based matchmaking, for those of you who don't know, is basically a matchmaking system for online games where you are paired with people who are of, similar skill to you. And this in theory sounds fine. And I think for some games, this is great, right? I think for some experiences, it's good to have like a general, like everyone's kind of similar on the playing field so people don't get discouraged and just get completely stomped and then they quit the game, never play again. However, there is something to be said about just going into the game raw and going from a really bad player up to a really good player. And I think that there's always been this kind of push to help newer players, try to give them an easier time, but there's really one solution to this issue, and I think that it's one that I think almost everyone could agree with. Ranked play obviously needs skill-based matchmaking. When it's competitive, you want some kind of skill-based matchmaking, right? Because you don't want people who are super good at the game facing against people who are bottom of the totem pole, really bad at it, right? But for unranked play, casual play, I think it should just be open. It should be based on your connection and your location, and that should be it. That's how it's going to go. I think that would be great. I think that would be a super cool way to do matchmaking, and I think that's pretty much what every Call of Duty fan wants, right? That's what everybody wants. However, that being said, I think that there's a way to do this. XDefiant, love that game, had a welcome playlist. If you were rank 1 through 25, you could play on this welcome playlist, and it was kind of a mosh pit of different game modes for new players. Once you reached level 26, you were kicked out of that playlist. You could no longer play on it. You had to play with the big boys, and you were thrown in with everyone else. So this gives new players a chance to kind of learn the game, kind of get used to the game in an environment where they are with other new players or people who are, I guess, just going back to troll on Pub Stomp. If you wanted to do that, make a whole new account, I guess you technically could, but it wasn't really worth the effort. Because you could still theoretically do that in a normal match. But the point is that you kind of give them a safer environment for a little while, and then you take them in with the wolves, and they get to learn that way. I think this is a great system. I think XDefiant nailed it, and I'm really, really hoping that they do something like this for Black Ops 7. As of right now, the open matchmaking, which is the classic matchmaking without Sbmm, without skill-based matchmaking, is a playlist option. It's an option. You still have the option to play with the normal matchmaking, we'll call it, with the heavy skill-based matchmaking, where everyone is similar level and every game is extremely competitive, despite the fact that this is not a competitive lobby. There is, it's not a ranked mode. This is just a casual playlist, and everyone's playing like it is ranked, like it's the end of their lives. Right now, it's just an option. This won't fix anything. You might be thinking, oh, well, we have the option here now for players who want the old style and players who want to keep the new style. The problem with this system, as it is right now, is that everybody will be moving into the open bracket if they are slightly above average or really good. Because the people who are slightly above average or really good at the game want to pub stomp. That means that they want to just trash on all the shitty players, and that's how they want to do it, right? And then that leaves all the shitty players feeling, very vulnerable and very bad, so they will go back to the closed matchmaking system with the skill-based matchmaking, where they can be with other shitty players, and they'll never have to feel bad. And what this leaves is a open, quote, matchmaking system where there are only good or great players. And then you have the same problem as before, where everybody is in your lobby is really good at the game, or at least above average, and it feels very sweaty, it feels very competitive, and it's the same thing again and again and again. And that's what has led Call of Duty to its ultimate decline over the past 5 or 6 years. People are just tired of it. It doesn't feel like old COD because it's not old Call of Duty. And I think if Activision wants to do it right, they should follow in the footsteps of XDefiant and shut down. No, I'm kidding. They should follow in the footsteps of XDefiant and make a welcome playlist for new players, or do something they've done in the past. Black Ops 1 had a combat training mode, and no, I'm not going to get footage of this because I don't want to have to buy Black Ops 1, sorry, where new players could learn to play multiplayer against bots in a variety of game modes. And they could do this, they could unlock all of the guns, they could unlock a bunch of camos for it, attachments to learn how the game is played, and then once they were max ranked, they could then move on to the real multiplayer and play with real people. That's the way the system should be. You know, maybe it's one team of bots and the other team is all people and they're all working together and it's all very good so they can learn teamwork and it's great for the new players. That's what we all want. I think Activision should do something like this where you have a welcome playlist or you have a combat training mode for new players and then push them to the wolves once they're done. Once that's done, you want to actually play the game against real people, get thrown in with the big boys. You have to learn from here on out. This is how I learned to play Call of Duty. I fucking remember getting absolutely fucking trashed on in Black Ops 1 when I was like a 10-year-old kid screaming at the fucking TV. And I remember being a 10-year-old kid and I would almost exclusively play the combat training because I wasn't good at the game. And when I would play the combat training, it made me feel better because I didn't want to get stomped on. And then, you know, as the games go on, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, which I didn't really play much, Call of Duty Ghosts, there was nothing like that. I had to play against real people. And that's how I just kind of learned to get better. Then it was Advanced Warfare, and that was a whole other fucking thing with the advanced movement. And then, of course, Black Ops 3, when I finally quit because of the loot boxes. You just kind of learn to get better. It's how you do it. You get thrown in with the wolves, and then you just learn. This system now that they've had since 2019 is not working. It puts everyone in this room basically fighting themselves or something near to themselves. It's very rare that you'll have a game in Black Ops 6 where you get stomped on super hard or where you stomp on the enemy team super hard. It's very, very rare. It happens once in a blue moon. Usually it's like everyone's roughly the same skill level and it's just a mess. Black Ops 7 has an opportunity here to give consumers a game that they really, really want. And I think if Activision plays their cards right, and they listen to the fan base that has been screaming at them for over half a decade now, they might have something really good. Anyway, I'm working on a video for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I kind of put that video down for a little while, but I've decided I want to pick it up again, so making that video. It's going to be probably very long. I've been getting some footage of it, been getting some of my thoughts written down on it. Total script right now is like maybe 10-20 minutes, but that's not a lot because we're looking at like 2 hours plus probably by the time it's all said and done. Anyway, that's all for today's video. See you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye!